Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What up? Welcome to Williams and Blum. It is October the 1st, 2025.
October.
Brocktober.
Brocktober.
How you doing, Blum?
I'm good. Good.
We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios. Quality people over there at Northwest Bank. Shout out to Doug and all of his team, and we appreciate their sponsorship of the studios. We got to get us some of the Northwest Bank deal to put here.
Just a big old ATM machine.
Now that would be cool. Like a
just print money.
I wonder if they have like vintage ATMs.
Ooh, and we're talking. Doug, Chase, Kara, you're out there.
We need a cool ATM machine to put in the studio.
That's all we ask. It's a really
We're
minor
actually
ask.
getting pretty cluttered here in the studio. We have a lot of stuff.
We're just kind of tight.
We have a lot of stuff just sitting around. No, welcome to the show. We obviously have a lot to talk about today as the injury bug keeps hitting Iowa State. We'll touch on everything with that. We will, I want to really break down Cincinnati. We didn't do much of that on Sunday's show.
Fascinating group.
I am locked in on the Bearcats.
Okay.
I did my annual so my process is Tuesday nights I always just go nuts on the team Iowa State's playing. Where I'll watch multiple games, I do the statistical breakdown. I spend about 3-4 hours on these teams, and I got Cincy. Basically Matt Campbell, if you need any help game planning for this team, I'm your man.
Now, can you play corner?
No.
Okay.
I would get burned.
Okay. At least you know your limits.
Yes. No, thanks to our friends at Mechdyne as well, Chris Clover and his team for sponsoring everything we do here on Cyclone Fanatic. We appreciate you very, very much. MECHDYNE.com. And you can also go to their job board to see if, I feel like a couple people a month will like tweet at me or email me and be like, "Hey, I just applied for a job at Mechdyne." So
Advertising works.
I hope they're getting. Hired. I hope some of them are getting hired.
We should probably check in with Clover to see if that pipeline's going or if we're just sending them non-pluses.
All right. So Jontez Williams is out for the season. Iowa State is down 2 corners. I did a little bit of a hit for the podcast network. I think that was that on the podcast or just on YouTube? Yes, it was. So many of you have probably listened to it. We're going to analyze what's next for Iowa State before diving into Cincinnati, where this is, we're not going to beat around the bush. This is monumental. Like this completely, Jeremiah Cooper, that sucked, but you still had the field tilter in Williams that nobody was going to throw to. And whoever you put in over there, you can put a helper in the secondary if need be. And I still, like I told you last week, I thought Trey Bell is really good.
He is really good.
He still is really good. Like that doesn't change, but he's really good as your 2 guy. How's he going to be as a 1 guy? I don't know. We're about to find out. But this completely changes the back end of your defense, and it just puts a lot more pressure on the guys up front. Like I don't know how else to say it. We're not beating around the bush. I don't think this makes Iowa State. Let's say they were a 10 or 11 win team. I don't think this puts them in the 6-win category. No, it's not what I'm saying here. No, but. John Haycock has his work cut out for him to scheme this thing up because I don't know how Quentin Taylor Jr. is going to be. Like, he might be really good. And by all means, I know they really like him. I know that they like David Coffey. I know that they moved Benny Nagoye there for a reason because they thought that he is an NFL corner at some point. All these things can be true, but now, much like you saw at linebacker last year, you're learning on the job. And you better believe that there's really good quarterbacks coming up on the schedule too. That's the other thing.
Including Saturday. Yeah, Sorsby's.
The best quarterbacks on the schedule are ahead of Iowa State. So this is a great challenge.
Yeah, as Matt said yesterday in the press conference, whether we like it or not, it's football. And this is why you have as many people are on a football team.
No doubt.
Unfortunately, for 2 years in a row, it's been a specific position group for Iowa
What are the
State.
chances of that?
And it's just...
I was texting with somebody this morning about that. Like, what are the chances that it was all linebackers last year, and now this year it's like the corners?
Yeah, and I saw a really good, healthy discussion on the message boards of is Iowa State's style of play defensively, which relies a lot on, you have more of them, linebackers and safeties and corners, is it lead to more injuries? That's a tough thing to think about. It's unlucky, but Iowa State's got to move forward for it. And a couple things on my end, at least I'm an optimist.
Yeah,
so I'm not going. This changes Iowa State's defense, but there are some still things that I don't think it's the end of the road by any means. And let me walk down that path.
We have to be realistic about the scenario, but we're not giving up on the season.
Correct. So here's what gives me at least some solace here. Number one, Hank Poteet, the defensive backs coach, is really good. So what he's done in his three years now at Iowa State is he's turned Jontez Williams into an NFL player as a 2-star recruit. He has changed Darian Porter from a wide receiver and a special teams guy into a 3rd-round NFL draft pick. He has made Trey Bell, who's been on campus for 4 months, into a really good corner. And so what I say that is Iowa State does like its young corners, really do. Quentin Taylor, who is now going to be thrown into the mix right away, was running with the ones in the summer before Trey Bell came on.
That is a fact. We reported that multiple times on Premium.
And so what Iowa State did, because of the depth at safety, and because of Coop's want to play corner potentially at the next level, they moved him over. So, again, yes, have you lost your top 2 corners, C-Dub? Yes. Cooper was a safety, so I remind you that. Mm-hmm. And so now you can kind of shift things around. Iowa State looks at Quentin Taylor as a starting type player. There's no question about that.
And they do Trey, too.
And Trey. You're super young there, though. And so that, Taylor is a very quality player. Coffee is a nice player. The problem is behind that, I'm not sure. I just don't know. And what Iowa State is into now, like it got in last year with the linebackers, is we've seen it with the corners. They play a lot of guys. I don't know then who's behind them. I really don't. And that's when, knock on whatever substance this is. Is this leather?
It's one of those fake leather. It's not leather. Real. We can't afford real.
Of course. If you have any more injuries back
like
there,
$100 chair.
What happens? And I think that's where you start to get concerned. But as far as Quentin Taylor, I'm not as worried about him and Trey Bell. It's what happens behind those guys, and Iowa State likes to rotate. More than anything, though, I think now you really have to lean on Rocco in that offense again. I mean, if you look at last year, look at some of the numbers Iowa State's offense had to put up to win games, and it did. So regardless, the offense is going to have to pick it up a little bit. I think Iowa State will do it as Matt says, as a team, and if it's not a good situation, but injuries happen.
I just remember last week when we were worried about the kicking game.
I know.
It feels like a luxury right now. God. Let's tackle it real quick because there's the obvious thing that's going around. And it's total hindsight. Like, why was he playing at that time? Everybody's talking about it. Yep. And the more I have thought about it, one, I know what they were doing. So they knew that they were going to be without Jeremiah Cooper the rest of the way.
Yes.
It's a very different experience playing cornerback when Jontez Williams is on the field compared to when he's not. What they were trying to do is get the 3 guys ready playing combos together. You need Quentin Taylor to play beside Jontez because he's going to get every ball. You need Trey Bell to play beside Quentin Taylor. And that's what they were doing in the second half. You watched them rotate. Yeah. It's easy to be like, but he could have blown out his knee on the first play of the game too. So I don't think it's a healthy discussion. I think it's a valid one. You can have it.
It's a valid discussion.
Yeah, like why were those guys out there? All of that, but that's what they were doing. They were trying to get the team so it was in its best position possible going forward, and this unfortunately happened. So I think we drop it at that. I'm not gonna. I said that on postgame on Saturday night. I was specifically watching how they were rotating. I wanted to see how Klosterman got in there. That's what I do when I watch these games, especially in blowouts.
Yeah.
And it was very clear what they were doing, and this is just a really unfortunate thing.
Yeah, it's hindsight is great.
It's all hindsight.
It is, and I couldn't have been the only one though. In the moment, you're like,
in the moment, we were all like that.
Get out of there.
And it didn't help that 15 other guys had gone down before that.
True.
It's just like every 5 minutes somebody would get hurt.
I guess just an update. Dom's playing Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good.
Huge. Do we know about the Cincinnati big man?
Haven't heard yet. It's so Dante Corleone, he's the Dom Orange of Cincinnati.
He's so good.
He is vital to their defense. They said after the game last week that he couldn't quite give it a go, which means,
what does that mean?
I don't know. Does that mean he's like, well, now he is a go? So he changes. That is something to keep an eye on.
Even if he plays, he's not 100%.
He's not 100%.
Yeah.
And he's a large individual, so that's going to be priority number one, but he won't be the same. And this is a Cincinnati defense that has...
Oh, I have the numbers. I have the receipts for Cincinnati.
They are aggressive as heck, but this is what I'm saying, C-Dub. This is a game where if you can block and you give Rocco some time, I think this could be a monster day for the offense. And I think this is where your leadership with Rocco comes into play of he knows his defense is a little banged up. Guys, let's take the pressure off you. Let's put up 45, type of situation.
Let's hear from John Haycock real quick because he was asked before we get off of the cornerback situation. Yeah. Unfortunately, Coach is going through it for the second year. It's like there's this run of injuries on his side of the football in one position, and he talked about this yesterday.
That somebody's just going to have to carry the flag. You're going to have to pick it up and go. Everybody's got to coach a little bit better. We've got to be a little more detailed. The players got to play a little bit better. And then the next guy up's got to carry the flag. And, I think that's what really going through it a year ago showed our team. It is a team game, and it does take everyone. And, one person doesn't define the team, obviously make their contributions, but you're playing a team sport. We need everybody, and everybody's going to have to play a little better, coach a little better. And, I think, again, and the next guy up's going to have to carry the flag and do his thing. We're going to have to go, and they got to get better and grow up fast. And nobody's feeling bad for us. Cincinnati doesn't feel bad. Colorado down the road's not going to feel like nobody really feels bad for you. So you got to get yourself, pull your boots up and got to get going. So I think at first it was a little bit, but I think our guys now know, we've been here, done this, and we got to go, and they will.
Be interesting how it impacts the rest of the defense, only in the sense of, if you're going to have to bring safeties over to help the corners, does that hurt your run defense? More pressure on the linebackers and the defensive line.
And do you try and get more pressure early?
Yes.
And take some pressure off of those defensive backs, because you can get to the quarterback, doesn't matter who's back there.
Do you think this will result in more 3-down linemen or more Bacon with his hand on the ground?
I actually don't know.
I don't know either. I was thinking about this last night. I could make an argument for both ways.
Yes. Regardless, I would say needs, and this is where, again, glass half full. Mechdyne has been really good, getting more pressure last couple of games. Trevor Dawn came in and did really well last game as a young guy coming in as a defensive lineman. Bacon's been getting more pressure. Willock in there. I think if you can get more pressure on the quarterback, it's going to alleviate a lot more. I do think Iowa State has to adjust defensively a little bit. You cannot just have, like they had with Jontez and Trey and cover for 8 seconds.
No. And all these Big 12 quarterbacks are mobile. I mean, that's the problem.
And the interesting thing about Iowa State's defense, generally, now the corners have been great. Okay, so follow me here. The corners have been great. They're in the NFL, several of them. The pressure is really on those safeties and linebackers, though, more so than the corners, the way Iowa State's defense is aligned. Meaning it's very rarely do you see a corner get beat one-on-one, because generally the corner has a lot of help from those safeties. So if the safeties can cover up a little bit more and you get a little more pressure, again, I'm not saying these corners aren't valuable. Jontez is an NFL guy. Jeremiah Cooper is a potential NFL guy. But you can kind of, in my opinion, Iowa State's defense, you can kind of cover for those corners a little bit more than you could, let's say, those linebackers or those safeties.
Linebackers for sure, and we saw it last year, and I'm not going to go through the numbers again, but if you if you go through Iowa State's rush defense numbers in the dime stack era, they're elite across the board except 1 year. And that was last year. And that was, at some point you can't out scheme what you have. And you're playing a bunch of third and fourth string guys. And the problem was, it wasn't like one of those guys was the problem. It was just, and even Bo Freeler at that point, it wasn't all the line. He was so beat up, right? I mean, this was just a problem across the board with that defense.
Malik was hurt.
It was just a run of things, and it caught up to them, and they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the guys.
Maybe it's famous last words, but if I have one position group that on that defense if you can suffer a couple injuries, I think it's corner. I do. Because I think I know I'm going to probably regret saying that.
I'm not going to say that,
but I do think the way Iowa State's defense is aligned, again,
arguably you lost 2 of your 3 best defensive players.
Arguably.
Now Bacon would be in the conference. 2 of your 4.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying the way Iowa State's defense is, the system is.
I get it. I know what you mean.
Your corners aren't on an island as much as most defenses.
Yeah, and again, and what I think will be really fascinating to see is we say that, and you're right, but you've also
changed that.
You've also had a TJ Tampa, a Jontez Williams,
Anthony Johnson,
Anthony Johnson, these guys that are, truly elite. And you take them out of the equation,
I know,
and it changes everything.
It does.
So we'll see how it responds.
Again, I will adjust my opinion accordingly.
No, I appreciate it because the sky isn't falling. They still have a really good team. They can win every game. All of these things can be true, but you have to adjust. And I think we kind of translate this conversation into the offense now, going up against this Cincinnati defense, which very familiar with them.
Yep.
Tyson Veit, Matt Campbell talked about Tyson and his history with Iowa State and what he's doing with this Cincinnati team yesterday.
You don't love it just because you love the human and you love the people. And, both Tyson and Scott are guys that, their families, our families, we love those people and we believe in them. And, the reality is we also know they're not just great humans, they're great football coaches. And I think anytime you have so much respect for the person across from you, the competitive environment is always tough, but that's our sport. That's kind of how it rolls. And, at the end of the day, what they're doing is such a credit to who they are as men and leaders. And it's really exciting to watch what they're doing, but that doesn't have any impact really on what we're doing. And what we have to do is really be the best version of us as we kind of prepare ourselves for Saturday and, which would be a great football environment. But, I think when you step away from it, the respect and appreciation and gratitude that you have for who those guys are and, what those guys are about. Those guys had a huge impact on me as a football coach, certainly had an impact on our football program.
Notable, too, the last time Iowa State went to Nippert Stadium, it was kind of a joke.
Yeah, really. I was there. I was there for that one.
The crowd sucked. The program was kind of up in the air.
Well, let me
it's sold out on Saturday as well.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. From being there 2 years ago, those people care. So I'm going to give them it wasn't a sellout. The rain kind of held some people off that day, but it's that place is going to be rocking. That is not going to be.
That's what I'm saying. This is going to be a much better atmosphere than what we saw with Iowa State 2 years ago.
There's no question. And Iowa State took it to them early in that game and really kind of put them away in the second half. You're right. By the fourth quarter, everybody had left that game. It's a really neat stadium. The noise bakes in there. It's an urban campus. You're right there. If you're over in the area, go to the game. It's gonna be great. But yeah, they feel as good about their program, the Bearcats do, than they have during the Satterfield era. And so that place, you've got a top 15 Iowa State coming to town.
It's hot.
This is a huge opportunity for Cincinnati. And look at some of the ticket prices. It reflects that. I just think, this is where having knowledge of Tyson Veit is good and bad. He knows what Iowa State's going to do. Iowa State knows what he's going to do. And, Rocco has seen this defense quite a bit.
Dude, it's crazy when you break down their numbers. They're really, just by the numbers, a terrible defense.
By the numbers, it's terrible.
But then they keep you out of the end zone, though.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It truly is the, Haycock era, give up a ton of yards, but then The only thing is they don't get turnovers. Like 0 interceptions this year. I think they have like 1 fumble recovery, maybe 2 or something like that. I'm going to give you some numbers on the Cincinnati defense.
Let's go.
It's truly horrific when you break down their numbers. But then you look at their scoring defense and it's like top 50.
Yep.
So opponent yards per play is 6.2.
Oof.
This is my favorite. Opponent completion percentage. Ranked 135th out of 136. Opposing quarterbacks are completing 75.7% passes against this team.
Interestingly, they had to replace their whole secondary. Like all of them went in the portal last year.
Giving up 320 passing yards per game.
Oh my gosh.
That's 130th. And again, they have yet to record an interception this year. So it's funny. And I went and scoured a couple of Cincinnati message boards because I was like, how are they feeling?
What are they feeling? Yeah, what are we feeling?
And they all, tell me if you've heard this one before. Oh, the corners give them like a 6 to 7 yard cushion. What the hell are they doing? And I'm like, oh my God, I've heard that for the last 10 years. It is a spitting image of the dime stack. Like, but they're really they're truly bad against the pass. And they're better against the run. Corleone's a huge,
he's a game changer,
huge piece. Yeah. Like if he's out there, you can throw a lot of this stuff out. But I think that this game is in the 40s. I hinted at this on Sunday, and I was right. I said that total of 51, that's going to go up. It's already at like 54, I think, as of this morning. And obviously the Jontez news.
But by the way, I looked that hasn't moved with the Jontez news. Which
and you wonder, did they bake it in?
Or
I don't know.
It
it also could be just. It takes a lot to move a line.
It does.
Like if Rocco Beck would be out, the line would move by 4.
Quarterback's a big difference.
Yeah.
No, it's
But like I guess my point is, there's going to be, everybody's going to pick Cincinnati in this game, across the board nationally. I promise you.
Yep.
Like that is a fact. Like that will happen, and it's a no-brainer. Ranked team, underdog on the road. You always take the favorite in that situation when the ranked team on the road is an underdog. You just blindly do it. And everybody across the country will do it. I guess my point is Iowa State's offense we think is really good.
Yes.
I still, even without the corners, think Iowa State's defense is better than Cincinnati's.
I agree. I do.
Yeah.
And this is where, yes, you go in here and the Iowa State's got a chip on its shoulder now. Now they've heard it this week, by the way, that people are not picking Cincinnati to beat them, and now they've got the whole injury situation. But you compare these two teams, I really think Iowa State's ability to control the line of scrimmage on both ends, C-Dub, could be the difference here. I do, especially without Corleone. Now, if he plays, we got to adjust our expectations a little bit of controlling that side of the ball. But what's the best way to protect your corners? Don't put them on the field. I mean. So if you have a couple of those big time, 10 play, we're going to shove it up your throat. If that's the right idiom. I don't even know. Up, shove down. Then you don't have to worry about it. And I think that's Iowa State still has a really good offense. I was listening to the coach's show yesterday, and Matt made a really good point, which I wanted to bring up today. He said one thing that most teams have to deal with that we really haven't is we're so balanced. Just think of all the guys that have made big catches and big plays from the running back position already this year. There's like 12 of them, tight ends, the whole thing. And so you can't really count. You can't just focus on one guy. I mean, think about all the tight ends that have done something. His point was most teams, when they get into that, everybody wants theirs then. Hey, why am I not getting the ball? Why am I not getting the ball? Well, he's like, with Rocco, these guys trust Rocco to make the right play. And by and large, he has made the right play. You take Rocco against a Cincinnati defense that's giving up 75% passing.
That's an absurd statistic.
Like, what is he?
Well, they don't get any pressure.
They don't. They don't. And so they're going to have to. What Cincinnati's going to have to do is they're really going to have to come after Rocco, in my opinion. And then that's when
it just looks so familiar, though. Like they're not really trying to get pressure. That's the thing.
No, I know.
And if Corleone's out, they really don't have a chance unless they blitz.
And that's where
they don't blitz much.
That's where I think Iowa State, yes, you
tight ends are going to have a big game.
Should. Your first reaction is, man, this could be a lot of points. But then I could see where Iowa State's like, you know what? we're going to do our 12 play,
possible.
75-yard drives. We're going to give Carson Hansen Abu Sama. We're just going to pound. We're going to pound it. You can't get to Sorsby on the
All
field.
right, so that'll be your read, and I don't entirely disagree with you. I think it'll be a little mix and match.
Yeah.
I think Chase Sowell has 200 yards receiving.
So look, Aiden, pull up the box score from 2 years ago in Cincinnati.
Higgins.
You remember the Higgins breakout
that's
game?
where I'm going with, baby.
I think
You
it
knew
was-
exactly where Daddy was
I
headed
think
with
it was
this conversation.
I think it was like 9 for 180 that day.
200 might be a little bit.
Yeah, 200,
bullish.
200,
150. He's gonna have a big day. Like they got that swagger going. Rocco loves having that guy on the outside. We've seen him do it. What do we got over there, Aiden?
6 catches for 172 yards, no touchdowns.
He's gonna have he averaged.
Can you guess who the leading rusher for the Iowa State Cyclones was that day?
Well, I mean, this is clearly going to be something crazy.
I
Probably
was
not.
there. I was there. Hold on, I'm going to
Was
get
it
this.
This is a wild box score for the rushing game.
Cartevious Norton?
I was just going
He
to
was second.
Eli Sanders?
Eli Sanders, 16 carries for 52 yards. Cartavius Norton, 6 carries for 28 yards. Carson Hansen, 5 carries for 25 yards. Rocco, 10 for 12. And Chase Contreras had 1 carry for 6 yards.
Oh, yeah, the fake field goal. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yep.
Good pull, Aiden. Well
This
done.
is where I look at this game like, yeah, you are concerned clearly about Iowa State's defense in those corners, but don't give the ball.
Good point. That's a good point.
I mean, you just don't give them the ball.
Just don't give them the ball.
I mean, they're going to get the ball, but you know what I mean.
I don't think their defense is very good at all. And I think that Mauser's going to feast on going up against, a guy he knows really well. And Mauser just has more to work with here than Tyson Veit does at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I'm picking Iowa State to win. The more I dive into this, I understand all this stuff. And
absolutely.
It's a brutal spot. It is. I get it. I'm still picking Iowa State to win. I don't know how. Maybe it'll be lower like you think. I don't know. I trust Rocco.
Trust Rocco. I mean, that's where I hate to say it, but
we haven't even mentioned Sorsby, and we can get to him.
yeah, and I think the interesting part, if you look at last year, Iowa State did an amazing job on him through the air.
Yeah,
But he
had
ran it
60 yards,
But he ran it a bunch,
141, I think.
and he had a big long touchdown run in that game.
But again, that was an Iowa State team. If you remember, that was right after the Kansas game.
That was in the middle of linebacker
Yeah.
malady season.
Yeah.
We had nothing.
Do want to thank our friends over at Gravitate Co-working. Had a great event there last week where I spoke to a bunch of entrepreneurs. They were awesome hosts. Jeff and his crew. What a cool spot. Like that, just a really neat spot.
Jeff came by him tailgate. Him and Hope.
Oh, nice.
They both did.
Very cool.
Actually, they helped me at the merch tent for a little bit. Just
that was
because they're
nice.
just nice people.
That was nice.
Oh, lovely people.
Very cool. So yeah, thanks to them for that. And I met a lot of people came to the event. Hope was there. Hope Wood.
HopeWoodJD.com.
Yeah, she was sitting there right in the front row. Did ask some good questions and just really appreciate them. HopeWoodJD.com. She can get your will taken care of in a day, and probably going to need it here because the Cyclones are going to be in shootouts and it's going to be it's going to be crazy. Go to MoveWhatMatters.com as well, and you can participate with the Iowa State University Foundation. The Williams, the Dirks piece is out.
Yes.
I've gotten so much feedback from this, from people who've read this in their magazine that goes out, and they do a great job over at the Pet Cancer Center. But that was all the foundation for wanting to tell that story. And my wife and I are donors to the veterinary, the whole Lloyd Vet School. They do a great job.
They do.
So
Yeah, cheers.
appreciate our friends.
It
at
was
the
good.
foundation.
It's good to see the big guy again. I miss the big guy.
Yeah, man. He's an old, who's a bulldozer. Old Dirks was.
Good old Dirks.
Man, we got old Diffie now, but he's a little more palatable. I think Dirks would just bulldoze his way in, just do whatever the hell he wanted. He was all
Dirks
man.
was Levi Peters. Remember Levi Peters?
Good pull.
For you old timers.
All right, so Sorsby, is this a Zach Lovett game? I mean, I'm trying to think of what Iowa State does here because this kid Sorsby, he's their leading rusher. really good. He's turned himself into a really nice quarterback. Outplayed Jalen Daniels last week, which is a lot. You all know that I love Daniels. I think he's a really good quarterback. Sorsby is he's a problem. And they also have there's a wide receiver I fell in love with.
Yeah, they got some dudes now.
Cyrus Allen is his name. And he is a dog. He had 11 catches, 2 touchdowns against Kansas. He's going to be a problem for one of those Iowa State corners. So this is not like a stop Sorsby. They got guys. Their running backs are doable. Iowa State can, hang there. They have another wide receiver. His name escapes me. He's the 6'1" kid. Allen is like 5'11".
Yeah,
but
Allen's a little dude.
And he's more their game breaker where he'll push it down the field a little bit more, averages a little bit. But this Cyrus Allen's a really good piece. Tight ends are somewhat involved, but not a ton. I don't know. How's this matchup going to go?
Yeah, I think the interesting part with Allen, and he's a classic player of this era.
Yeah,
where
good point.
He started at Louisiana Tech and just dominated that league. Just dominated. Like had 1,300 yards, I think, as a sophomore at Louisiana Tech. Then goes to A&M a year ago, C-Dub, got paid, and didn't do much. It was 15 catches. So went back in the portal this past offseason. Cincinnati, here's the thing with Cincinnati, y'all. They invest. The football means a lot to them, which I said earlier.
Which is great.
And so we
really
need
programs like
absolutely,
that. Absolutely.
They when you go there, it's a fun. It is not going to some other places in the Big 12. I'll just leave it at that. They care, and Ohio's obviously a great place for football. But they really invested on the skill player side. And so they got a couple of these guys in the portal, Allen being the big one, and it's paid off for him. Literally, it's paid off. So he's again, he played at A&M last year. He's a high major talent, clearly, and Iowa State's going to have its hands full. But that's where, again, I keep coming back to, if you get pressure on Sorsby, but you're right, you got to spy him. You can't get out of your lanes, and this is why it's an interesting challenge for Haycock's team. They can beat you in several different ways. This is a Cincinnati offense that's third in the country right now. Third in the country. And they've done it against
They're just moving it against everybody.
Now, the Nebraska game, they moved it, but they couldn't punch it in.
Couldn't get in the
And
inside.
that is where you hope Iowa State, and when that field condenses, your corners become less important. Like I'm trying to.
Yeah, well, and thank God that like Willich is back, and
McLaughlin played well.
You're full strength at linebacker.
Cooper Ebels had an unbelievable season.
He's been a really good. You're full strength there. You have Orange.
You have Orange.
The McDonough injury report is going to be something to watch, but I
played.
thought he made progress. I wasn't even aware that he was hurt. He must have gotten dinged up during the bye.
Yeah.
Would be my assumption there. So, you're hoping he takes another step and is even better.
And Verdon and Jace Gilbert are coming quickly.
This would be I guess my big picture is that Iowa State will give up quite a few yards.
Mm-hmm. There'll be a couple big plays in there.
Yep.
No doubt.
And then you just hope at the end of the day you are holding them to some field goals and that you outscore them on the other end.
There you go.
That's I know that this is the wrong read. I understand it. But most fans don't care about what Vegas odds makers like how they. I just think Iowa State is a better team all the way around. Like my opinion on that has not changed here. So I'm still going to pick the Cyclones to win this one. I'm going to pick it. I don't know if I'll get to 40, but I'm thinking like 38 to 31, like 38-28, 35-28. Like I think that it's a nail biter to the end. I think that it could be who gets the ball last, but I still trust Iowa State's defense more than I do Cincinnati's to hold Rocco back.
And then what I'll say too is Iowa State's been in these games. Think about last year. How many of these crazy games that Rocco won on the road? I remind everybody, under Rocco's tutelage, Iowa State's won 9 straight road games.
And there's another crazy stat out there I saw on like VSiN about Rocco when he's a underdog of 6 points or less. He's like undefeated. I mean, it's like it's a stupid stat. Like
it is interesting though how the corner, the Jontez and Coop situation have totally now removed the kicking conversation over to the side.
which
for
is
now.
a problem. Like,
And-
I mean,
and
that's
you're-
still going to be a thing.
Yeah, but that Matt talked about it again yesterday in the coaches show. Like they have a big belief in Chase Smith, and
I mean, I
don't see why not.
I don't feel like that's not something that keeps me up at night.
No, but
especially like,
it'll be a factor if it's close at the end of the game. Let's not lie to ourselves.
especially on the road, right? Where everybody's reading against you and all that stuff. The Chase Smith thing to me is more like, how is he going to be mentally compared to, can he physically make the kick?
Yeah, he can make the kick.
Yeah, you don't
He's
get,
done.
you're not in that spot if you can't make the kick.
Yeah,
It's just, going through the mental thing. Like everybody's different.
we didn't
Like,
trust Conrady until he made the one against Iowa.
Yeah, and like
on the
I mean,
road.
the whole Jace Gilbert thing, like he was really good for a while, had a bad game, and never quite recovered. And then, so like any kicker, you could be like it's like golf, really.
Oh yeah, very very similar.
Like you can hit a golf ball really far and make a putt, but if you're thinking about a million, I don't know. We haven't seen
haven't
enough
seen
of him,
Yeah.
so we'll.
How glad are you? This is an 11 a.m. game. 11 a.m. Like Saturday would be. Thankfully this is.
I'm already like just
already
terrified
nervous.
of
Yeah,
this
I
game
know.
and just everything about it. I don't like, but nonetheless, it's 5-0 Cyclone
That's why
football.
we play the game.
That's why we play the game. Thanks to Kellerman Manufacturing for support. I was going through the Kellerman YouTube page yesterday about the badass like air suspensions and stuff that they have. Do you know that Kellerman Trucks has 112,000 followers on Instagram?
Sheesh.
Check honestly, if you like just like cool cars and
I need to get his.
Trucks
I need his Instagram game.
it's pretty good,
I have
man.
less than 1,000 followers. And I'm not an Instagram. I just can't figure. I can't get the algorithm. I was walking with
that is a time suck. That's why I have that app
I
that
know it
walks
is.
me because it's just like, hey, look at these race cars. Look at these. I get served Kellerman stuff because I love that stuff.
I was walking around with a donor from out of state in the lots, and they saw Kelderman's big rig in the RV lot. They're like, "Is that
the
the
Kelderman?
Kelderman?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the Kelderman."
All right, it's time for our Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment. Plant your independence, plant Wiffles. We need to go to Wyatt Farms.
How we doing? How are the yields?
How's the yields today,
Let
Aiden?
me pull up the text quick.
Great harvest going on right now in the great state of Iowa.
yeah, there he is.
All right, there we go. Wyatt and Sons Farm.
Yes.
Yields are great.
Yes.
Some fields getting the most bushels per acre we've ever had.
Whoa!
Shout out to Crystal Bloom
Whoa.
for saying hi to my dad late Saturday night.
I remember that. I was there.
Man,
Way to go, Crystal.
what are we going to do when harvest is over?
So yields are good. Yields are good.
Actually, yields are great.
Yields. Does that mean prices are good, or is that
No, the prices are always bad. I've
Prices are bad?
Yep, you're right.
Okay.
They're always bad.
I've never met a farmer that'd be like, yeah, you know what? Everything's great right now.
so? Yields are great. Prices not so much.
Christmas is canceled.
Christmas.
You
is
know,
good.
I've always said this about my farmer friends and my brother-in-laws, and they're just like golfers. Like I never met a golfer who's been like, yeah, the game's really solid. Short game, long, everything's coming together perfectly. Farmers are the same way. They always are, they're complaining about something.
Yeah, I played last week at a really nice golf course and shot 78, but had
That's it?
37 putts. It's not.
Was
like
it
you
long?
said.
Was it dry?
It's like yields were
Probably-
great, but the
yeah.
prices, the scoring was not.
You're like a Tyson by defense.
I was hitting greens, baby, but the putts were not going in.
But at least you're keeping them out of the end zone, right? Like,
That's true.
Getting there.
That's true. I still broke 80. That's a win.
Wiffles Hybrids, plant your independence. It's time for the Big 12 segment.
What an interesting week.
I mean,
we got.
Iowa State Cincinnati's the best game.
It is. It is. There's some sneaky ones. though.
This week sucks in college football.
It's not
This is
great.
a like appease your wife type of weekend.
This is go out in the fields and improve the yields.
I wish that Iowa State was home.
Will
this
you appease
weekend.
your wife though, or you're still gonna watch football?
No, she's working all weekend.
Okay, so I
I'm-
mean, even though it's a bad weekend, it's not like you're gonna move.
I'll probably be in the driveway with you for most of the day.
Why not?
Friday night after dark, we have West Virginia at BYU. BYU's a 19.5-point favorite in that one. I would bet on BYU. West Virginia has to go west. Don't bet on teams skipping
It's
over
a
3.
lot for offense. It hasn't been. BYU comes to Ames here in a couple weeks.
Did you see
have we
the-
watched BYU? Have you watched BYU?
I have. Yeah.
True freshman quarterback named Bear Bachmeyer.
Great name.
Who wears
Elite.
number 47. I've never seen a quarterback.
Yeah,
In fact,
that-
I didn't think that was even allowed.
No,
Andringa, is that allowed if you're watching? Like, I didn't think quarterbacks could wear number.
that
47.
it's a staggering thing. To
I was
see.
like, what is the linebacker doing at quarterback? But he's got a brother on the team that's Bear Bachmeyer, and I think his brother's name is like Wolf.
Bear and Wolf.
I think so.
Brockmeyer?
Or it's
It's
some-
like a Steel Jance thing.
yeah,
with
we got
Rock-
like a Steel Jet.
Truck
Exactly.
and Fox.
You
and-
got it. Truck and Fox and Trig. But Bachmeyer's got a brother.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I didn't get in my book that I really regret. There's no Steel Jance chapter.
Well,
That'll be round two.
he is he's above literature. Like his
you're
his aura is even above.
There's nothing I could write that could
the
capture.
written word. No, I need to find what. Hey, Aiden, can you look up what Bear Bachmeyer's brother's name is here and help us? No, I got it. Never mind. He's the wide receiver. It's the Bachmeyer to Bachmeyer connection. It is not Wolf. It's Tiger Bachmeyer. So they the BYU is led by Bear and Tiger Bachmeyer. Anyway, there's your BYU update.
I wanted to give a shout out to our friends over at Colorado for this event we're doing next week.
Colorado got in trouble.
Well, that's it reminded me of the BYU thing. It's what reminded me to do
yeah,
this.
they got in trouble.
Well, apparently the Colorado students were chanting some not so nice things to the
BYU
folks from the Church of Latter-day
alum.
Saints.
The BYU alum.
Jeez. So
I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny.
we are kind of partnering. You're going to be there. I'm going to be there with our friends over at the. This is awesome. I'm really happy for these people with the Denver Cyclone Club.
Tell us more
the
about
Denver
it.
Alumni Association.
I've gotten more people are like, "What's the situation in Colorado? I'm going to be there." I'm telling you, I think there's going to be dang near 10,000 Iowa State fans at that game.
It's going to be absolutely loaded. So
we got Friday night though.
Friday night, and I'm really grateful that we can be a part of this, and we're raising money for. They do a scholarship.
Yep.
Every year. I'm assuming through the foundation.
It's through the foundation and the alumni. So what they do is
Absolutely.
they have a scholarship for kids from the Denver area that go to Iowa State. Really cool
Awesome.
program.
Yeah, it's a 501c3, of course.
Yep.
So we're going to raise some money for that. And then we are also going to do a program, you and me.
Perfect.
We are going to talk about the team. And then this is also the book.
The book. We're talking about the book.
We're going to take pre-orders for the book. We'll have like stuff from the cover will be there, and like you can.
You'll give a little sneak preview.
Yep, the book is done. It will be in November, but you can get your pre-orders if you come to this, and there will be for people who are asking online. I'll have like a website. And all that
so
stuff.
you can
in the
order it out of
next like 5-6 days, you'll be able to do the pre-orders and all that stuff. But we're going to be going all over the country. So I would actually recommend, like, we're going to do an event with the Dallas-Fort Worth Cyclones the night before in Fort Worth. And then we will be in Vegas the night before the basketball tournament. That'll be a smaller crowd, I would think. But then already planning events with Wild Rose Casinos. And then on Tuesday night of next week, there are tickets available to this. TJ Otzelberger and I will be doing it's called The Business of College Sports. With the Des Moines Business Record, which will be at the Krause Center. I believe that starts at 5.
And that's Krause is in that Gateway area, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Tickets of it. So
and you can get pre-orders and all this stuff. But that TJ one is more Chris from the Business Record. You know Chris.
oh yeah,
He's going to
our buddy from the Daily.
moderate a deal on like just evolution. How do you change, evolve or die, daily habits, all that good stuff.
Building an empire.
Building an empire.
No empire.
With TJ and Williams. No, I've heard TJ multiple times give.
It's really valuable.
It is. I mean, for anybody, it is valuable. And man, you're along for the ride too. You're valuable too, C-Dub.
I'm something. But anyways, that event starts at the acreage. I just want to make sure I get it. And I'm going to send out, I will put it all over our Twitter.
Where's the acreage? Is that the Denver one?
The Denver.
Okay.
So if people want to go.
Gotcha.
And then they actually are, if you go to the Denver alumni page, like on Facebook or wherever, and I'll send this out too. So just check social media. You guys will be able to find it. There's already like 400 people that are going to be at this place.
Smokes.
So this is going to be a massive, massive event. It's about 30 minutes outside of Boulder.
Okay.
It's not a long drive, but mileage wise, but
Traffic.
Yeah, stuff takes a little bit out there. So yeah, 4:30 I think to 6 is the actual event, and then you can hang out and just do whatever after that. But that's what's going on next Friday.
That's gonna be a great trip, everybody. Look forward to seeing everybody out there.
I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay, the rest of your Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment, because the reason I brought that up is because
we got nothing.
Well, we got that email. From the athletic director at Colorado.
Yes,
because they were doing the nasty chants towards the Mormons.
And did they get fined?
They did get fined. Yeah, so don't do that when BYU comes to town.
Yeah, we're not doing that, guys.
It's not classy, and it's just flat out rude, and that could go to pay for like a long snapper.
Well, how much was it?
It wasn't that much, but it was serious enough where the AD had to send out a press release and the conference fined him. I don't know what they chanted. I honestly don't know, but it was
Coach
really...
Prime talk. He said, that's not who we are. Coach Prime said
Good
that.
job, Prime.
Prime.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. It's probably a couple of idiots who are drunk. And then
and
everybody else
late.
is like, this is funny.
$50K.
50K.
$50K?
Yep.
Brent, what did that get you?
$50K.
Get you a corner? Backup?
A backup corner, yeah.
They just cost themselves a backup corner.
Yeah, hey, you know what we're saying. Could use one of those.
So West Virginia, BYU. We've got, this is a good game. And it happens to be exact same time that Iowa State's playing, which sucks. The Big 12 schedule is not spaced out well.
Silly.
Kansas State is at Baylor, 11 o'clock kick.
And that's an ESPN Pluser, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. 6.5 Baylor. It may be time to start playing Kansas State.
We had the same read. We just had that look like, I think
the bye week kind of
They got healthy last week. They looked better last week.
They're not as bad as everybody thought. We
They're
knew that the
definitely
whole time.
They got guys. They've
tried-
always had guys.
We said this whole time that we thought Kansas State would be a thorn in people's sides when Big 12 play resumed.
I'd be nervous if I was Baylor in that.
Yeah, and Baylor's got all the pressure now. Like Kansas State, the pressure's off. Like everybody already thinks your season's over. Now you're just going out and just prove people wrong.
And Baylor mentally, can they handle it? I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm with you, C-Dub. FYI.
Oklahoma State at Arizona. I'm actually. I will be.
We need to find out who is on the coaching staff for Oklahoma State at this point.
Yeah, big balls to fire that coordinator. I love it. That's a great move.
That's a great move.
One of my favorite moves I've ever heard. Coach fired. Now we're going to fire the coordinator.
The week later,
he's already fired. He's like a
he is. He's
a lame
fired.
duck anyway.
Like,
we hate you so much. We're going to pay you to not work.
You do not get that catered meal anymore, pal.
I am interested in this one subtly. Texas Tech at Houston. Texas Tech fascinates me, and the Fighting Willie Fritzes are 4-0.
Yep.
They are a 10.5-point underdog at home. I don't think they will win, but this would be about as excited as a Houston crowd has been for a football game in a long time.
And Tech travels like crazy, so they'll have a bunch of people. That'll be a sellout.
This will be a good
atmosphere.
Fun.
Yep. 6 o'clock or ESPN. Yeah, it's a tough ticket. It's a $100 ticket at that place, which is crazy for them. So it'll be a great atmosphere. If Tech is as good as they think they are, they cover that.
I would agree. Colorado is at TCU. That's the big Fox game. It's just funny how they still keep picking Dion.
I know.
And the team's just not any good, and they're not exciting. They're not fun to watch.
Yeah, they're just kind of there.
This is a dog of a game. So TCU is a 13-point favorite.
We got three. What? I understand when you have a 16-team conference, you're going to run into this. But do we need competing Big 12 games on ESPN in particular? Because both ESPN and ESPN2 are Big 12 games at the same time. Like, no wonder your ratings aren't going to be great for those.
Great point. Because I would watch most of these games, but you can only watch one.
Yes. And then they'll go, oh, your ratings aren't good. Well, you put them up against each other. Stop it.
Notable on this ESPN thing that Aiden's got pulled up is that the Iowa State over-under is at 54.5 now. So we look smart.
It's climbing. So Colorado, TCU, and then the nightcap.
Kansas is at Central Florida.
Mid Florida now.
Mid Florida. Directional Florida.
So
Actually, that's an interesting game. Does Kansas bounce back? Is Directional Florida, were they a total fraud in the first 3-0 start or just a little bit of a fraud? Because we kind of knew that they were a little bit of a fraud.
that surprised me. It's up to 5.5 though.
I'd probably take Directional Florida.
I think I might there. I just don't know about the KU defense. It's
The
just
KU defense sucks.
It was not there last
The read
week.
on Kansas was never like that they would win the conference. It was that they could, because of their offense, just play spoiler.
What a
and
weird.
just,
They've had a weird year. They hang with Missouri but give up 40. They blow out West Virginia and were great. They held them to 10, and then they give up 6-20 to Cincinnati.
what does that tell you about Missouri's offense?
I don't know. Is Missouri? I mean, yeah. I'm fascinated by Kansas. That game in Ames is going to be very impactful.
God.
They owe us one.
Well, and then you take Iowa State's corners out of the mix, and the matchup gets a lot worse.
That's.
Oh God, I hadn't even thought about that.
But
yet.
that's not until
Yeah, we'll worry about that
a long
later.
time, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. That's it. That's all.
That's it.
Thanks to Mechdyne, Northwest Bank Studios, Aiden Wyatt for producing. Remember, all of our game day programming is coming up on Saturday. Leah Nelson will join me throughout the day. Yeah, we'll have ourselves a Saturday.
Okay. Last thing for everybody. Do we do the Guinness at 10:30 in the
Yeah.
morning? I mean,
Breakfast.
does the Bondurant Fairway still have the nitros?
Well,
we could better check on
every time I go, I buy a 8-pack of them.
Okay. Can you save one for me for Saturday morning?
Sure.
Okay. It went so swimmingly for the Arkansas State game.
Every time I go, I buy an 8-pack. He is Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams.
all.
Aiden Wyatt producing. We'll be back on Sunday night. Later.